Previously on Destiny. This is to be a catalogue of sorts, a wild vivisect of collated information known about the witness, woven together. Now, where to begin? Ah yes, for eons, people of the Last City have believed many things about the balance and nature of the light and dark. But there is far more to it than meets the eye. Welcome back, Guardians. My name is Samlab, and today I will be asking, what did the witness do to Mars? At the start of Season of the Risen, Guardians were tasked with pursuing the Queen of Lies herself, to find answers. The reason behind how Savathûn was able to wield our most precious asset, the light. Sometime after, she was successfully stopped, thanks to the Guardians. Mars returned. But it seemed different somehow, like a long-lost friend, but it changed. There were planet-wide fractures or rifts in time. According to Ikora's hidden, spatial time pockets that allowed us to see directly into the past of Mars. Have a listen to this audio log from the Altar of Reflections.
Mars underwent a grueling autopsy, a post-mortem of its collapse. Data extracted, lessons learned. The witness spit it back, covered in incriminating fingerprints. Does that make you angry?
There is no telling whether we can believe Savathûn word for word. However, what she has shared does make some sense. If Savathûn did take Mars, when would that be? According to Nylor, a Tex Machinica Guardian, the sole divisive Vex belong to or are under the control of the witness. If we are to believe this, then it means that the witness did take Mars. How do we know this? Because it is confirmed by Osiris during the Tower of the Watcher mission. Have a listen to this audio log.
Among the hidden tells me that a Seraph complex recently powered on for the first time since the collapse. Shortly thereafter, Vex incursions were reported. Anna flagged the site as a potential pillory bunker. If the Vex gain access to its systems, they'll use it to wrest Rasputin's submine data away from us. It would be catastrophic.
During the Season of the Seraph, Mars returned. But the entire expanse of the planet is littered with what Ikora's hidden call time wounds, tears in the fabric of Mars reality, allowing anyone to see into the past of the planet. Ultimately, this is how the Guardians were able to go back to the past and retrieve copies of Rasputin's code from the Mind Lab. How much do we really understand about the relic on Mars? It is where the Enclave resides, but it is a strange mechanism, not device or machine, but something in between. You could say that its potential has yet to be realized. According to Savathûn, It is a compendium of every weapon to ever exist, every sword, every explosive, and every war mind, even Savathun's most deadly death song. Have a listen to this second Altar of Reflection log.
I asked you before, what is the nature of the relic on Mars? This is the truth. The relic is a compendium of every weapon to ever exist. Every rifle and sword, every explosive, every harbinger of the Awoken, every war mind of Earth, even my own brew's most secret death song. It's all cataloged within this machine, intimately known and infinitely reproducible. The Witness wants you to think those weapons will all be yours. But you're more clever than that, aren't you?
Allow me to continue on this point of the relic on Mars. What if I told you that it also doubles as a time machine, and that the Witness used it to brute forcibly rewind the clock on Mars in order to gain access to Rasputin's data to uncover the whereabouts of Nefeli's stronghold, which later we would realize is Neptune. But it knew this already. Rasputin deciphering the information to reveal the location of Neptune wasn't important, as the Witness had tasked Callus with looking for the location of the Veil. Have a listen to this next reflection audio log.
I asked you before, what is the nature of the relic on Mars? This is the truth. The relic is a time machine. That sounds strange, I'll admit, but the concept is really simple. The Witness used this device to revert Mars to the point of the collapse. This was the study it hoped to complete. Of course, the process left scars. But why should the Witness care what state Mars is in upon its return? It got what it wanted.
Think of it like a computer brute force attack that the Witness used to gain access to information that would otherwise be impossible to access. As we know it, it wasn't just the Seraph Watchtower security triggered in an attempt via way of the soul device of Vex. It was a plan to steal secrets, but also from the mind lab of Rasputin, originally lost after the darkness took Mars from us. Time and time and time again, the name Witness is ushered from the lips of every Guardian you can imagine. The list goes on. It isn't hard to see where Savathun borrowed a lot of her skills from. If you can weave a lie so clever, it becomes story, and from story into legend, and from legend into history, and from history into truth, then what you have is an entity so bent to changing the truth or challenging their very existence, and the existence of life itself within the universe of destiny. Zavala and Ikora have done their best to grapple with the onslaught of many losses and few victories. And now with Sloane returned, and the help of Arsa, the last city and all of humanity may have a fighting chance. But would we be at risk if Savathun was allowed to return, to quietly pull her puppeteer strings from behind the scenes, knowing that the Guardians would have no choice but to try one thing? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Have a listen to this lore entry from the Book of Purpose titled Fifth Expectation. It says, "I don't know what I expected." Zavala sets down a datapad on his desk, watching Ikora pace back and forth across his office. "I don't know," he says. "Maybe we should have." Ikora stops pacing. She turns to look at Zavala with an accusatory stare. "Every single enemy we've fought was brought here by the Traveler," Zavala says, slouching back into his chair. "The Hive, the Fallen, the worst of the Cabal." His attention drifts down to the datapad. Sloane's report on the origins of the Witness. "What's one more group of people chasing it?"
This isn't the Traveler's fault.
Ikora says, doubling back on Zavala's desk.
You read the same report I did. We're at war with an entire civilization, condensed into an individual, multitudes of resentment and hatred crushed into a singularity.
"Resentment toward the Traveler?" Zavala grumbles. "I'm not saying the Traveler is at fault. I'm saying it's a harbinger of ill omen. Everywhere it's gone, nothing but death has followed. Does it realize that? Does it care?" Ikora approaches Zavala's desk.
Does it matter?
She challenges him.
It is obviously outgunned and running. For all the Traveler's strength, the Witness is the greater power. It never came to us to uplift us. It came to us for help.
Zavala is silent. He looks up from the datapad to Ikora, then sighs and slowly rises from his seat. Ikora follows him with her eyes, watching him move to the window where he would gaze out at the Traveler in the past. Now a fleet of allied vessels struggle to fill that void. "Were they really that unified?" Zavala asks, looking at Ikora's faint reflection.
Who?
"The Witness's people." Zavala stares past Ikora's reflection to the city. "Were they truly of one mind? United in a desire to become this thing? Or were they forced, compelled into action by the guidance of a few?" She can feel the doubt in his words, not in his wonderings about the Witness's origins, but in the vanguard, in what he sees as a parallel. Ikora steps to Zavala's side, briefly touching his elbow.
We'd never become that.
She says softly.
Not in all of Elsie's journeys through time. Not in any hypothetical future. We stand together because...
"Because we believe what we're doing is right," Zavala interjects. Looking Ikora in the eye, she sighs, turning to face the window. Her shoulders sag. She is lost in the details of the cityscape. "I don't know what I expected either," Zavala says, "but you're right. It wasn't this." Truth, Guardians, is a funny thing. Does it live in the world or in the mind? Is it constant, or can it be undone? Who decides what is true and what is false in this universe of light and dark? Savathûn had already been revealing truths before Guardians realized it. As an ex-follower of the Witness, it would make sense. But why would she continue to do this? Is it possible that the prospect of a universe outside of destinies interests her? One where species can live in freedom? Or is there some ulterior motive to her machinations? Time is running out, Guardian. And it is only a matter of time. It is of the utmost importance that Savathûn be revived, if only to help us to discover how to follow the Witness. In the meantime, join Ikora's hidden in searching for the truth. And remember, Guardian, that no matter what you're facing at this moment in time, that you can do all things. Stay safe, and Godspeed.